Welcome back, everybody, to our crypto spiritual energy update here, May 17th, 2018, for the coming week, week 21, May 18th to 24th. My name is bryndis. I'm an energy coach, energy healer, and energy trainer. And if this sounds a bit weird for you, the contextualizing collective energies onto the crypto market, then let me just explain real quick why I'm doing this. Okay, so in these collective energy updates that I do just an hour before the crypto energies, I'm explaining, how collective energies that are around us, kind of like weather conditions, affect us on a physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, and energetic level. And because the crypto sphere is such a wonderful representative of this collective sentiment, namely in regards to like these ups and downs and, media as well. It being such a grassroots movement, is for me a wonderful example. Another reason is just a preference or a little knack that I have for this technology. And so what I'm trying to do here is to give you a contextualization that is very unusual, but that can lead to a whole different perspective. And perhaps even a rethinking. And maybe you just want to take this as an additional, I don't know, oracle or whatever, not really giving you any trade calls. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice, but to make you look at things from a different perspective. So like your input on things. So one of the new projects that I've introduced last week is the crypto integrity rating. And what we do here is that we test tokens, ICOs, and exchanges based on their integrity level. And I want to point out that the integrity level is not a guarantee for a good investment. This is very important to understand. However, it does give us an indication as to how much in line with the overall transformative and paradigm shifty type of energy that is coming in with the crypto market is represented in for these companies. And so we're building a database here. We've started doing this 6 months ago of integrity ratings. And what we do is we test the consciousness level of these companies based on three major sectors or categories, and one is of course the coin itself and the investment behind that, then the people, the leading people, the pulling horses, the people that are associated with a token or an ICO or a project, and then the third category is the technology and the project, the concept, the mission statement itself. The only place where we test only the first two is with exchanges, simply because there is really not so much difference in what the mission statement is, and that is to provide an exchange and to make money. The rating itself comes up with the numerical values, and I want to make sure you understand this. This is based on Dr. Hawkins's map of consciousness, and we have people here that are trained in testing the conscious level. It's really the energetic level of a project, a coin, a contract, a person. You can apply this to anything, to any type of choice, to any type of thing that you need to evaluate, and it gives you an idea of the truth level of it. How close is this to truth, and how close is this actually to the greater good of all? And 200 being a major barrier here. So anything below 200 does not have the greater good of all in mind, okay, in its in our case here, project or investment, okay. Anything above 200 at least resonates on truth, and we call this integrous. So at that point it's based on truth, so you don't need to expect any surprises or things that like a scam or something. So it's a good indicator for you if you have been doubting whether some of the things that attract you are scams or not. That's really something that you can use as as guideline for it. Other purposes for testing integrity level is matchup. So here at Crypto Staffer is one of the sponsors here of our Crypto Spiritual Energy Update, where we use it to match up people, to match employees to companies, where we match up projects with contracts with maybe other companies and so forth. So it's a wonderful tool, really, for those of us who can accept that there is more than just, the stuff written on paper. Okay, but before we go there, just a quick news flash here, about this past week and where we're at. So there was a bit of a flash crash, as some other YouTubers called it. We've lost roughly $70 billion of market cap. So the Bitcoin price went down again. So we didn't take the $10,000 mark here that I talked about last week. But it's not really going really further down. I don't think so. We've consolidated here. It's a correction that we're experiencing. And there is a lot of things going on right now. There's conferences going on, international conferences here, where sort of the cryptocurrency intelligence and also institutions are coming together. The biggest being here the Consensus 2018, a cryptocurrency conference organized by CoinDesk, one of those crypto magazines, crypto news magazines. And it was a huge display sort of the shakers and the movers in the crypto industry. Very interesting. Also interesting to see, like what it attracts. And, you'd think that because there's so much grassroots, and we've talked so much about the technology and all that here in the past, you'd think that there'd be a lot of tech-based kind of guys running around there, and yet the prices for having a booth at this conference there were so immensely high, six-figure numbers, and also the ticket prices were $1,999. It deferred sort of the grassroots people, but it's showing us with a conference of that size, that can, attract exhibitors for over 4 floors. Okay, it shows you, that there's a lot of investment that big companies are making, and all the big companies actually showed up. There's, of course, other crypto events, such as conferences and summits and so forth going on, one of which is going on in Sweden right now. Ivan on Tech and his friends are setting up a more sort of tech-oriented kind of conference, and all the best for you guys there at the Stockholm conference. Anyway, so these kind of things brought up a lot of expectations. In the past, the consensus has usually had an impact on the market, and so everybody was kind of like expecting, this like huge sort of rally while consensus is going on, and that didn't happen. So it was overpromised once more and underdelivered. But in sight with all the other FUD, positive and negative FUD that is going on, it just shows us once more that as the circles are now becoming bigger and the institutional money is moving in, that just positive news doesn't necessarily lead to a rise in Bitcoin or any kind of token prices. So it's starting to become a bit more real, a bit more kind of neutral in a way, to just, individuals making statements about the crypto market. These times are kind of over. When I started reporting about crypto energies by the beginning of last year, there was only a few YouTubers and there's very little information. And I started out with just, talking about companies and coins, and I'm not doing this anymore. There's so many cool YouTubers, so many cool news services now that I just put them here in the description. I just pick out the things that I think may be relevant. And one of the things that I noticed here in this last week is there's a lot of talk about exchanges and how, a listing for a coin on a certain exchange. I'm not sure if I'm right with this, but I think there's like 10,000 exchanges there now. And most of us do really just only know, one or two or 5 or 10 maybe. It is natural that when a coin starts becoming listed at an exchange that is very popular, say Coinbase or Binance, that it's a lot easier for people, especially those of us who are not that tech savvy, to buy it. And so there's a bit of a phenomenon now that every time a larger exchange announces that there is a coin going to be listed, that we see a extremely sudden spike of the prices. And one of the things that I forgot who made me aware of this, but I know this from stock trading, that came forward this week was that apparently there's a trading bots out there, and some of these coins and some of these new projects that we see on the blockchain are actually based on, producing sort of a software driven algorithm, to buy and sell, to trade cryptos. And apparently some of these bots are programmed to react, to immediately react to the announcement of a listing at an exchange. And very funny, actually, what happened here yesterday, actually, Binance was about to list a certain coin. It was a true US dollar, like TUSD, and they came out with a postponement a message last night, and it was very obvious. You could see this in the coin price immediately. There was this spike up in expectation and promise that this coin will be listed on Binance, and then it got postponed, and immediately it dropped again. So these things are something that you need to keep in mind, okay, as a sort of a mini trader here, as a non-professional trader, okay. Don't buy into these hypes, because the next thing that can happen is that it gets dropped just as fast as it was picked up. Just real quick, interesting, TUSD is like a competitor, if you will, to Tether. It's the kind of coin that people go into in times of high volatility, where they exchange their tokens into US dollar backed tokens. Okay, so it's that sort of in between. It's like where you park your money until the altcoins or Bitcoin or whatever it is that you want to invest in feels more stabilized or is rallying again. Okay, so Tether's going to have a competitor there, true US dollar, and if I understand this right, the postponement was because they had issues with being backed here by enough US dollars, which is in itself also a good integrity check. Question is here, what are these exchanges, especially since we're going to be talking about integrity of exchanges here in a minute. What do these exchanges mean for us, and how can we judge those news or that come out? I think it's significant to look at things such as Nasdaq, who announced that they're going to have an exchange live here in less than a month called DX. I think that's significant, because it tells you that the big and traditional money investment companies and fintech is really accepting cryptocurrencies as something that will be important for the future, where investors are going to go. And I think this is smart. Anybody who still talks about all this, just being a brain fart or not having any type of value or whatever, really doesn't understand how finances work, and especially not how fiat works, because if you compare this to how the fiat system works, then you'll actually have to come to the conclusion that cryptocurrencies are actually much more backed and safer than fiat ever was or will be. So question here now, should we wait? Should we invest? What should we do right now? Crypto energies, as you can see here on orange, personally, knowing which energy centers are involved, namely second, sixth, first, and fifth. Okay, those are, I'm referring to the chakras, the energy centers in our body, knowing that what these things mean. I've decoded this for you here in the past weeks. Second chakra, being that place where people easily get caught in FUD, easily get swing. Also, the pump and dump that I talked about yesterday. So this will continue here for this next week. That's why I talked about these trading bots. But also sixth chakra, and sixth chakra is our third eye. That's our, our higher perception, our ability to see through just, like the outer shell, the outer performance, or what people say. It's to see the larger truth behind it, and also connect with our vision behind it, our long-term vision. Okay, and this is usually a time where we want to do research. With ICOs, I think that we're going to see a surge here in ICOs in the next couple of weeks till the market itself begins to rally in a more stable way. And so it's really a good time, to feel this out. And I think the integrity testing comes in real handy. However, there's also the need to ground yourself. That's the first chakra, and to make sure that you don't go overboard, that you don't fall for speculation, that you don't fall for hype. Very important here for the next week. And the fifth chakra in the crypto world, usually shows, when there's corporations, regulations, and so forth, when these things are starting to settle and become, more real, if you will. So there's a bit of a reality check, a correction here going on in past week. And this week it will continue, but I do think that this is a time to look at ICOs, okay? And I don't think that you have to keep waiting. I mean, there will always be this FOMO, that can creep in, where you feel like you're missing out, the fear of missing out, and you got to withstand that a little bit. So try to be as neutral as you can here next week. Do your research, and tune into what I want to cover today as a meme here, as a new meme, what is called FIFO, okay? The faith in future opportunities, okay? And that's something, if you can understand, how this can play out for you, then all you really need to do is, like I said, stay neutral. Don't try to go overboard. Don't buy into the hype of things, and learn to lean back, because you can see the bigger picture and you can trust in this without buying into the speculation. So, and that leads me then to the integrity check here with the tokens that we've worked on this last week. And again, I want to call all of you to send us suggestions. If you have favorite tokens, or cryptos that you've invested in and you want us to have a look at this, then please do so. And I'm collecting them all, and we will test them for you. I may not be able to report about them in the energy updates every week, simply because I don't want them to take too long. But who knows? Maybe we're actually developing towards this place where this is all that I do, every week, do integrity testing for you. So let's see. So the ICO that we tested this week is CryptoFlix. And this is interesting because this came forward by two different people in the last week, and I hadn't even heard about it before. Not that that means anything, because I have a day job, as you know, as an energy healer. But I thought this was worthwhile looking into, because it is actually an ICO, an initial coin offering, that is active since today. So this gives you an opportunity to really be there and feel this out for yourself from day one of the ICO. There was a pre-sale that they had that started here, 24 hours ago. And pre-sales are, we talked about this, where you can get extra discounts on this. But I think this is a worthwhile ICO to look at. It has to do with bringing the movie industry onto the blockchain. And I will put a link up here for you to the website and the white paper, so that you can form your own opinion. But remember, the integrity testing has nothing to do with opinion. It actually has nothing to do with what we feel, think, or whether we invested or not. But I'm going to tell you something funny about CryptoFlix. Anyway. The categories in which we tested CryptoFlix was, of course, the token itself and the investment. Is this an integrous investment? The level is, or the value, the numerical value is over 200, which is a good sign, because that means it's generally integrous. How high do the people and the organization test? The people that are behind the projects, the pull horses. And again, here I want to make one remark. We're going to have to redo these tests over time, simply because as the leadership changes, as the project grows, as there's more people starting to work, this value will of course change, and also the integrity level of the project itself, the mission statement, can change. So as you can see here, the people behind CryptoFlix actually calibrate relatively high. Okay, they are trustworthy, and at this point in time, in May 2018. This is not so common, all right? So most of the ICOs that I've tested here in those 6 months, did not really come up with that high of a value. So that's one of the highest values that we had here in the integrity of the people behind it. What about the project? And again, here, some of these things are surprising. To me, they were surprising after the fact. But the project itself and the mission statement calibrates even higher, which means that there is a really good chance, that this project, or at least the idea behind it, can provide something to the overall infrastructure, to the overall good of the cryptosphere and humanity, if you will. So all these came out to a median of 2,254, which calibrates above truth and above trust, which means that our final sort of rating here for CryptoFlix is that it's a trustworthy project and people, which is really cool, and it seems like a really good long-term investment. Funny thing is, I did actually the research after the testing. This is important, because most of the testers here at Crypto, Spiritual, and transCODES, do blind testing. Okay, which means that they don't know what they're testing. The only person who knows the task, who knows the target, is me, the tasker, and I try to keep myself as neutral as possible before I do this, simply because I want to avoid, my own mental and emotional overlay. Now, come to find out, after I actually looked at CryptoFlix, after I did the testing, that there's people involved who are very close to, what I would call, people that I've known, or that resurface. I remember I talked about this last year. One of the major pings that I got here with the whole cryptosphere was that I saw people resurfacing. Okay, so I think this is a really good panel there, and I have lived in that same hometown that CryptoFlix was born at, so that's kind of cool. But anyway, that's my personal opinion. Moving on here to the token integrity rating, and so here we always look at existing token and probably like the top 25, and we picked Litecoin. Litecoin has been subject to a lot of questions, and people asking us to test it over the last year or so. Here you go. The investment aspect of the token calibrates above 200, which is good. It's integrous. It's not a scam. Okay, the people behind the team calibrate extremely high, and most of you know this. Charlie Lee used to be a developer, a core developer at Bitcoin. And then basically improved or altered, the original Satoshi concept into Litecoin. And the intention behind this is really, really high. Okay, so I'm not saying this because I like Charlie Lee or whatever, or I'm getting paid. We do not get paid for these ratings, just so you know. I'm saying this because of the integrity level that he tested at. The technology, the project, and this is quite interesting, also a bit surprising, just calibrates below 200. It's just, right there on the truth level, meaning that there may be, maybe technical things that have to be improved over time. But what it really means here, as for the overall integrity level of 237, is that it's an integrous investment, but the technology itself has issues. Okay, there's something that I cannot explain here because I don't know. This has nothing to do with what I know. This has something to do with the integrity level of the actual project. And even though the total project is empowering for the cryptosphere, I think, and this is what this rating shows me, and also, of course, some of the other information that I got while doing the testing, is that we're going to see bigger projects than Litecoin coming from the people involved. Okay, so I think that Litecoin is just a sort of a precursor for something much bigger down the road. So this is very interesting. I didn't expect that here to come out as part of the token rating. Last is the exchanges. So we've tested Coinbase here as probably one of the most known cryptocurrency wallets and exchanges. So while Coinbase is for most people primarily a wallet, it also functions as one of the biggest exchanges. Okay, and so you may not be aware of this, but every time you buy cryptos on Coinbase, you're interacting with the exchange aspect of Coinbase. They also own another exchange called GDEX, and we can test that at a different time. But due to the popular demand, we decided to test Coinbase as an exchange. And interesting rating here, again, perhaps maybe not so surprising, that the exchange itself calibrates below truth. It calibrates at greed, and specialness and pride. So yeah, this is to be expected with exchanges, especially when they're more centralized, like Coinbase is. Coinbase is very much like a bank, okay? And so it calibrates below 200 because it is not according to, say, the original Satoshi concept within the cryptosphere. The people and organization, also calibrate below truth, which means, they're not all what they're saying, or they're not all what they're sort of the picture that they're producing on the outside. But again, an exchange, has a clear purpose, and that is making money and not necessarily, providing some kind of value to society. So this is not so surprising. So an overall integrity rating here of 181 leads us to see that it's overall not trustworthy, which means as far as the safety of your money is concerned, just like with any wallet or exchange, don't leave your cryptos that you bought on Coinbase, not because Coinbase is specifically unsafe, but simply because that is not a safe thing to do. It's very power based, and as far as the agenda is concerned here, which is represented through the people in the organization, the way this feels to me is that it's very much aligned to the old paradigm. So it's literally not even a crypto company in that sense, because it's literally a bank. So if you are okay with that, and if you can live with that, that Coinbase is a representative of the old paradigm, the middleman paradigm, and you like them though because they're easy to use, or because of whatever benefit they produce for you. I use Coinbase as well. Even though I don't particularly like them as a service that I need to use, but sometimes I need to use it for specific purposes. So if you can agree with this, then go ahead and do this. But on the long run, it is not really producing or not really adding a lot to the crypto spirit here. Yes, if you don't have any questions, then I would like to close here. Please smash the like buttons for me. Also, I'd be super grateful if you could suggest transCODES or me. I am transCODES basically, and Crypto Spiritual, maybe as a crypto influencer. I'll put the link up there. It's not really important to me because it's not, something that I take a lot of pride in. But, I think that, reporting about the cryptosphere in this way, reflecting on collective energies is a niche, but, it still adds to the overall space. And thank you for coming. Thank you for viewing. And I hope to see you next week for the next crypto update. And let me know what you would like us to do integrity tests on. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.